It begins with something almost invisible in its simplicity. A child noticing another human being in pain. No analysis, no hesitation, no calculation of status or worth, just a quiet instinct to care. In that moment, the little girl didn't see a CEO, a powerful leader, or a man who had everything. She saw someone who was hurting and didn't want him to feel alone. That kind of compassion isn't taught in boardrooms or earned through experience. Sense something we're born with and often forget along the way. As adults, we tend to complicate kindness, wondering if it's appropriate, deserved, or worth the effort. But innocence reminds us that empathy doesn't need permission. It only needs presence. And sometimes, the smallest voice carries the deepest truth, one that can soften even the most guarded heart. Kindness, in its purest form, is enough. Bed. From the outside, success looks warm, crowded, and complete. But from the inside, it can feel painfully quiet. The higher someone rises, the fewer people they can truly lean on, and the more they are expected to always be strong. On a night meant for togetherness, that silence becomes louder. The CEO, sitting alone on Christmas Eve, wasn't surrounded by failure. He was surrounded by absence, no laughter in the room, no one asking how his day really was. We rarely talk about this side of achievement, the emotional cost of always leading and never being led. Society applauds the results, but ignores the weight carried behind them. And so, even at the top, people can feel unseen, unheard, and deeply alone. It's a quiet reminder that success can fill calendars and bank accounts, but without connection, it can still leave the heart empty. In moments like this, titles quietly fall away. There is no CEO, no child, no hierarchy, just two people sharing the same human space. The little girl didn't speak up because she felt small or impressed. She spoke because she felt connected. And that's what real connection does. It ignores rank and reaches for the heart. We often believe respect flows downward and authority flows upward, but compassion moves sideways, meeting people exactly where they are. In that exchange, power didn't matter, wealth didn't matter, and reputation didn't matter. What mattered was the courage to acknowledge another person's pain. When we strip away labels, we remember that every person, no matter how accomplished, carries moments of doubt, grief, and longing. And when we meet each other as equals in those moments, something shifts. The world feels lighter, and we remember a simple truth we tend to forget. Humanity always comes before hierarchy. What makes this moment unforgettable isn't a grand gesture or a carefully planned act of generosity. It's how small it is. A few words, spoken without thinking twice, carried more weight than any formal comfort ever could. That simple offer to borrow my mum didn't solve problems or erase pain, but it did something far more powerful. It made someone feel seen. We often underestimate the impact of small kindnesses because they don't feel dramatic enough. Yet they have the ability to change how someone experiences an entire moment, even an entire life. A smile, a pause, a listening ear. These are the things people remember when everything else fades. In a world chasing big achievements and louder actions, this reminds us that the smallest gestures can break through the hardest walls. Sometimes, all it takes to change everything is one sincere moment of care. And that quiet exchange, the meaning of family gently expands. It's no longer limited to shared names, shared homes, or shared histories, but to shared humanity. The little girl wasn't offering a biological connection. She was offering warmth, safety, and belonging, everything family is supposed to represent. In moments of loneliness, what we crave most isn't perfection or structure, but the feeling that there is a place for us at the table. That night, family became an invitation rather than a definition. It became the courage to include, to open a space in one's heart for someone who didn't expect it. We all carry this ability to make others feel less alone simply by welcoming them in. And when we choose to do that, even briefly, we remind each other that belonging is something we can give, not something we have to earn. True leadership reveals itself not in moments of control, but in moments of openness. That night, leadership wasn't about giving orders or making decisions. It was about allowing oneself to be human. The CEO didn't lose authority by feeling that moment, he gained perspective. When leaders lead only with power, they may be obeyed, but when they lead with heart, they are remembered. Vulnerability doesn't weaken leadership. It deepens trust and invites connection. It reminds those around us that strength and sensitivity can exist side by side. Whether in boardrooms, homes, or everyday life, the most meaningful influence comes from empathy, not position. When we allow ourselves to feel, to listen, and to care, we create spaces where others can do the same. And in choosing humanity over status, we don't just lead better, we leave a legacy worth following.